Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the B2B Club. My name is Tom Evans, and I'm a senior engineer and manager at Hokodo, specializing in front-end development and customer experience. Today, we have Michael Vax from Commerce is Digital to talk to us all about mastering the customer experience in B2B e-commerce. We'll be looking at some of the features and functionalities B2B businesses can implement to improve their customer experience. Glad to have you with us today, Michael. Please tell us a bit about yourself and how you attained your vast knowledge and understanding of B2B e-commerce.
Hi, Tom, and thank you for having me. I'm doing e-commerce for last 15, 17 years, something like that. Lost track already. Most of my time was spent on the product side. I was leading development of e-commerce platforms in a number of well-known companies. So my journey started with a company called Elasticpath back in Canada. Then I worked for Hybris that became SAP Commerce Cloud. And kind of my last position on the platform companies was with Spryker, which is a vendor of e-commerce platform, B2C and B2B. And now I'm kind of using this knowledge that I got to fill the gap, which I recognize as a skills gap in many companies. They really know they want to do a digital transformation, but in many cases, they don't know where to start and they don't have deep knowledge of what actually digital commerce is. And this definitely affects quality, timing, and scope of the operation. So to address this, I started to create training courses that's used by companies who implement e-commerce, because B2B is really very exciting opportunities, and there's even less knowledge in B2B. So this kind of led me to focus more on B2B and develop several courses for B2B e-commerce.
Fantastic. Thanks for that intro, Mike. For this episode, I think it would be helpful for us to break down the conversation by the user journey stages and look at the different tactics and techniques businesses can implement to provide the best customer experience. I wanted to start by looking at it more broadly and considering B2B buyer personas. This can differ between industries, but can you tell us a bit about their needs and expectations and how they differ from B2C buyers?
Oh, absolutely. As you rightly said, one of the main differences is multiple personas. And this is a key because in B2B, you're selling to an organization. And in B2B, buying process is collaborative process. There may be somebody like engineer or somebody who is subject matter, who knows what to buy. He obviously has a manager who is responsible for a budget that needs to be approved. There may be somebody from purchasing department or delivery department. So it's always a group. And it goes through multiple stages. It goes through multiple channels. And one of the things that B2B merchants should take into account is how to serve to all this group with focus on collaboration, because that's really the key here. And it translates in very specific e-commerce functionality that most of B2C platforms don't have. Like we all as consumers love online shopping. I go online and there's my shopping cart. But it's not your shopping cart anymore. You actually it's shopping cart probably of your business unit or a shopping cart of your organization. And it really helps when you can share this shopping cart, when multiple people can look at it, people can comment, people can assign different rights to this. So this collaborative process is super important in e-commerce.
Absolutely. I think it's the mental shift from selling to an individual to a group of people as a business. And I think that takes a lot of effort to create the best customer experience to achieve that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And maybe the other important thing is to say is that the purpose of shopping, the objective why customer comes to your site is very different. Yeah, because in B2B buyers, they have job to do. And the most valuable resource that they have and the most value they put this is their time, because they're actually usually very busy people. And this is why we need to really want to optimize customer experience. It's super important to keep in mind. We need to optimize for productivity versus, in some cases, in B2C, it should be excitement, enjoyment, many other things. But in B2B, it's productivity, which of course may have multiple aspects, but I don't know if you feel the same.
Absolutely. So now we've got the understanding of the type of buyer that will be coming on a B2B e-commerce site. It'd be good to talk about how we welcome and register buyers, if we register them at all. So this is the area I'd like to start talking about, which is whether a B2B business should require customers to register and log in when entering the site, or possibly something else. And I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's one of the first problems that B2B companies are facing when moving online. They need to change their approach, their perspective. Because standard, if you're running business offline, standard approach is to be as close as possible. Don't show your prices. Need to know who his customer is. Need to talk to them before you can sell to them and all of that. Yeah, and this doesn't work well online. It doesn't work well also with more and more transparencies that buyers see, for example, on B2B marketplaces. Because on marketplaces, you see prices. You can compare prices. It's what people want. It also goes against this closed shop approach. Yeah, it goes against this need that we talked about it, respecting people's time. I have a job to do. Okay. So I really want to learn about your product. I want to learn about your price. I want to learn about your delivery options. I want to research all of that. And you're saying first I need to register, then wait for 2 weeks before you approve my account, my credit history. Doesn't work. And online, your competitors just click away. So it's really become very, very important to address it. At the same time, B2B merchants have very valid concerns. They don't want to sell to the customers with bad credit history. They want to know where customer is located because not all products can be shipped or sold to all of this. So we need to find a way, a creative way to address these concerns. Yeah, and I also write about this topic because it's a super important topic. And there are many ways to do it. Yeah. So why are you actually hiding your products from your customers and from Google search engine and all of that? Yeah. Put catalog online. Yeah. Prices as well. Yes. In B2B, every customer has a specific, sometimes pre-negotiated price list. Yeah. But every company has default price list. You can put default price list on with a suggestion to customer, please get in touch and register. We'll be happy to get you better prices if you commit of buying particular volume and so on and so on. Yeah. So credit history, again, there's a risk, but there's multiple payment methods. And I think this is what you guys are specializing on. Yeah. There's no risk if customer pays by credit card. Yeah, there's no risk if you can limit amount order value to some threshold. There's no risk if you're not selling your most complex and more prestigious products. So if you're looking at this journey, new customer journey, from just discovering who you are, to understanding what products you sell, to understanding your prices, and to ability to buy, that as much as you can open this process to new customer, as much as you're willing to go, and some for some businesses may ready to go up to the end. Some visitors may only go do first step and only show the product, but direction is toward openings, and the direction towards openings really is going to pay off for any business. Yeah, so each business needs to investigate how to move in that direction, how to get there, maybe in baby steps, but that's the direction to go.
Totally agree with that. For a company, it's how quick can you onboard your customers and how quick can you get them to start interacting with your website, viewing your products, because then they're invested, right? They're looking at your products, they're understanding what you offer. So creating a journey which makes that from the first stage to the discovering the products as quick as possible is the vital part.
Absolutely, and you can still register them and give them open some payment methods to them, but not all. Don't give them a credit. Ask them while they buying, while they're actually exploring doing business with you. You can ask them to get the credit history, bank details, and kind of all of that, so you can check it. The other thing you can do is, and some of my B2B clients are doing this, you can, in many countries, you can implement actually online credit history check, which is becoming just API call. Yeah. So while customers are kind of finding product and doing something with on the side, you can do this call and at least establish some level of credibility, open maybe some credit to them, yeah, and then do finalize checks and approval asynchronously offline.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually, it's an interesting topic because it's one of the things that Hokodo offers is this lookup of credit limits to understand how much a buyer can have and what's able to be offered from terms. Well, I'd like to get into later in the conversation when we get to the point of checkout. But I think it's definitely a game changer if you can simplify that stage of the user journey. I'd like to understand your view as well on, you mentioned pricing when you're onboarding a customer and how there's like different tiers. So perhaps how a business can provide personalized experience to their customers through pricing or special offers to perhaps onboard them quicker or make it more enticing for them to register.
Yeah, personalization is a really big topic now, especially with artificial intelligence that opens completely new opportunities in the industry. But in B2B, if you have already contractual agreement with a customer, to degree, this is the first level of personalization that most of the B2B merchants have. Yeah, you have agreement, and in many cases, this agreement not only define prices, but may also define even what products you offer to them. Yeah, which creates a lot of complexity on B2B e-commerce implementation because it's not all catalog for everybody. You need to filter as well as a tremendous amount of price information and all of it. But this is the first level of personalization. Yeah. After customer is registered, or you already have some history of doing business with this customer, then B2B companies are actually in much advantageous position to do personalizations in B2C because they know much more about their customers than B2C customers, yeah? Which can go from things like if you know that this customer already bought this equipment and you want to sell them spare part, and you know like a life cycle of this replacement parts, yeah. Well, you should not be a genius. You don't even need artificial intelligence to know. Well, they need this parts, and you need to offer, yeah. So I think it's super important to do and also understand what type of business your customers are in. And this can be done even by structuring your catalog. Let's say you selling tools, yeah, and you have some drills and I don't know, hammers, screwdrivers, yeah. But people who are in construction industry, in the house construction industry, need to be different equipment than people who are doing piping. So it's possible to offer customer different product discovery journey through your catalog based on the use of your product. Yeah, like from your catalog perspective, screwdriver is screwdriver. That's it. There's a price, there's a definition, this is how many bits it has. Do it. But for people who are doing buying it for because they have job to do. Yeah, what we discussed. Customers always have job to do. So we need to know what their job is to customize the experience for their job.
Totally agree. Yeah, if we, like your example of a hardware store, they're going to sell a range of products, and if you know the buyer is an electrician or a plumber or some other trade, you can target the products for that industry to that buyer, so you can limit their options and hopefully get them to convert quicker as a result. I think this leads us on to an interesting topic as well about product search and discovery, and you mentioned some of the things that businesses can do to aid that. And I think if there's any possibly good practices on how to educate buyers about products, possibly something they haven't used before or new product to the market, if there's any good practices to aid that.
Absolutely. And for most of the B2B merchants that are just starting the digital journey, the first recommendation would be clean up your data, because usually it's well-established companies who are in business for many years, and they have a lot of garbage in their data, both in product data, in doing. There are also maybe some products that only the knowledge about this product only in some specific people's heads, and nobody else is knowing you. But customer is not calling you. Customers goes to website. Yeah, so that's the first thing to do. Because you cannot do much, you cannot have great customer experience if you have bad product data. And bad product data means there may be some cryptic names for it, yeah? Which, again, your ERP knows, your salespeople knows, but to me as a customer means nothing, yeah? So start with this, start with making sure that you have all attributes that can be required. These attributes are organized in some groups so you can actually present them in a proper way. Yeah. Then you may decide, do you have a variance products? Does it make sense to you have variants? Because sometimes there's too many variants. Yeah. And too many variants, maybe you need to have defined different products. So the way products are represented in ERP, this represents internal view in your data. So this representation is optimized for internal consumption. But when you're putting data outside, they need to optimize for external consumption. And it's not the same. Yeah, you need to really look at your data from customer lenses and customer perspective and so on. Yeah. So basically, if you clean up the data, then, as I said, you can do categorization. And categorization, again, in your internal presentation, you don't do extra category for plumber versus construction worker because they buy the same screwdriver, yeah? But from a customer perspective, you need to do this. So it's define multiple categories tree, define the tree, kind of really make it clean before you even opening your catalog for the customer, yeah? Then in e-commerce catalog, there's such thing as facet navigation, when you can filter them by price, by brand. So you need to define, again, what type of facets or these filters you can define, and they need to be defined per category because they may be very different in different categories, yeah? But that helps customers, again, get faster to the product, yeah? Another super important thing is merchandising and searchandising. And this kind of where black magic of e-commerce happening, yeah? So merchandising, you need to define relation between products, like upsell, cross-sell, related product commonly called together, yeah? You may define bundling, create bundles. Again, bundles may also depend on the use. So some bundles may be more relative to other customers than others, yeah? And then you need to really optimize internal search. And this is where kind of magic is. And then you need to decide how is the search capability of your e-commerce system enough, or you need specialized system for this, like system like Algolia or FactFinder who have extra capabilities of this. If you have huge catalog, finding something is a challenge. And here you need to decide, okay, what are typical types customers do? You need to define synonyms, yeah, to do it. You may define things like, I don't know, especially it's a problem with Germanic languages like Dutch language or German language, where they're using very big words. And customers can only use part of this word to find. I have example in my B2B course, and you need to be able to find it, yeah? Or customers may use different search terms that you're using internally. So you always need to monitor this and check what search queries lead to that result. Because if a customer is looking for something, you maybe actually have the product, but customer cannot find it, yeah? So this merchandising is a super important category. You need to learn best practices because that is direct relation between your revenue and this technique.
That's really fascinating, and it kind of all boils down to how can you find a way to get the buyer to find their product as quick as possible.
Yes, absolutely. And there's one more thing, even more difficult to do, is you even like this thing says SKU number. Yeah, SKU is an identifier of the product. You have SKU number in your ERP. Guess what? Customer has a SKU number in their purchasing system, and it's different SKU number. So it's a really good practice for big customers to allow them to search by their SKU. So there's a lot of things like that. Also, like there's good practice of when you're doing search. Yeah, many customers are doing also product discovery online. So if I'm looking for something, in addition to having search returning list of products, good practice that search also returns list of relevant categories and maybe your blogs or your webinars that also covers this topic and help to educate customers. These techniques are mostly quite known in B2C world, but most of B2B sites haven't mastered it yet.
Absolutely. I think it's that transition from the more traditional face-to-face sales pitch of products moving to a digitalized setup of B2B e-commerce. That transition phase can be quite challenging and hard to manage, particularly if you've got complex products. So having stuff like webinars and educational material around the product that's easy to find related to products. And also, like you say, you know, you're buying a certain product, there are several other products that are often bought together. Grouping those in some way will make it much easier for the buyer to be able to find other products that they may be looking for.
Yes. And you mentioned complex products, which is another really big topic for B2B. If you want, we can discuss it now. Yeah, this complexity of the product that companies sell was always kind of seen as an obstacle of going online. Yeah, like you can easily sell fashion, you can easily sell some tools, but look at our machines. They need to be configured, they need to be selected. There's millions of different combinations that you can do. No, there's no way we can sell it online. Well, then pandemic hit everybody very hard and salespeople couldn't travel. And businesses needed to find a way to sell complex products online. And it's possible because there are technologies already there. It's really a question of thinking it through, doing a bit of more development, selecting proper B2B e-commerce platform that can do it, and so on. Yeah. So basically, in many cases, you need to implement what's something that's called product configurator, where you guide customers through this journey of selecting a right product combination. And it may be a complex journey because let's say I have some machinery and I need to have some additional things to work with this machinery, and it should be compatible with this, and I have very specific requirements, and I really need to walk through this. Yeah. So good interfaces can be defined for this. It's quite possible that price of this configurable product, because it will be made towards your based on your configuration, may vary. And this configuration also should implement some kind of price calculator based on your customer selection and all of that. Yeah? but it opens new opportunities. All of a sudden, your world is changed. You can sell much more complex products, and companies enjoy this as well. And selling this complex product doesn't mean that you eliminate salespeople from the process, because salespeople still have a huge role to play, and they have the knowledge. They're the experts. They know these products better than anybody else. Yeah. So it's possible to do this kind of customer journey that customer may start with configuration, then collaborate with salesperson. See, this is what I want to buy. Salesperson can recommend, adjust, change something. Yeah. But if they can do it using the same digital tools, the same B2B storefront, then again, process is 10 times faster, process is much smoother. You can get question answered and negotiated much easier. Yeah. So there's tools there. It's not something, the place where you need to start, but it's a place where you need to go.
Yeah, I think this is it. And everything you said there is just so insightful. And I think, as you mentioned, COVID was kind of a catalyst to a lot of this as well, kind of moving from the traditional face-to-face to online only, forced a lot of companies to take on this. And we've seen some great innovations as a result, particularly in configuration and pricing structures to build out these complex products. So yeah, brilliant to talk about. I'd like to continue with the user journey now we've got our products, we found our products, we know our buyers, and the buyer would now be at the point of checkout. And I think this is probably the which I'm going to be most knowledgeable in out of everything we've talked about, because of the experience is very different in B2B. As we've kind of talked about already, you're no longer selling to a person, you're selling to a company, and the same goes in the checkout. And there's also, as you mentioned, often an expectation with credit terms or some level of basically paying later for the products. And there's a massive issue with this, and there's a complexity, and you alluded to some of this, the onboarding process. You don't want it to be days, weeks at a time. I remember when I was a freelancer and I wanted to get credit for a business, and they gave me stacks of forms, and it took days for them to read it all, the accounting team to basically work out what level of credit and all this sort of stuff. And I think that's where Hokodo really stands out in an amazing solution and an amazing product where they've been able to digitize this aspect. So just to give you an understanding of how this would work, with Hokodo embedded, the checkout would have a company search that could identify their company and then instantly be given their credit limits, their available terms, whether it be paying 30 days or even 60 days. And I think this is like a magical moment because they're able to instantly get onboarded with credit, and it offloads all of the complexity from the B2B business of managing all of this to Hokodo. And it also provides the benefit to the business, the B2B business, that they get paid when the product's shipped rather than when the buyer pays at the end of their terms. So I think this is a massive game changer for the industry, and taking something that was traditionally very hard and really a poor customer experience to being digital and an instant decision. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on this and how you think this would possibly change the landscape for B2B e-commerce.
Well, absolutely. It's a place to what we discussed at the beginning, to making it much easier to do business with you. That's how I look at this. Yeah. Welcome your customers. Don't close the door. Actually, sell to them. Help them to buy. Yeah. So, and your technology absolutely opens solving this problem, but also solving problem for merchant, because my understanding is that merchants are getting paid right away. It removes the risk, which is super important to do. Yeah. It's also introduced more modern payment services. Yeah, because right now, believe it or not, in North America at least, people are still using paper checks. Yeah. Yeah. So it's I think it's win-win. There's a lot of innovation happening in fintech area, especially in B2B. Yeah. And that's definitely something that will move B2B e-commerce adaptation even faster, even further. So definitely super important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the highlight, I think, of our conversation is always how can you onboard a buyer as quick as possible and get them to the point of discovering the product and checking out as quick as possible. And it's reducing all the barriers there really creates the best customer journey. And that's the key.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then also, let's talk as a part of it is a role of salespeople. Yeah. Because I mentioned before, some businesses look okay, either salespeople or e-commerce, yeah. But in reality, it's not about eliminating sales force, because, as I said before, they're the most knowledgeable people you have about your products, yeah. So the question is how to tunnel this knowledge and make it available to customers in digital world, yeah. So, because again, it's save time, you have a knowledge, salespeople can actually focus on consultative selling, yeah, or what are now called digital service-oriented experience, yeah. So experience is digital, communication happens using digital thing, but there's a real person involved, and it can be in synchronously, in the chat, in the call, or it can be asynchronously when customer create request for quote in the storefront. It goes to a salesperson. They really can negotiate and collaborate on this, yeah. But it's important to get the salespeople involved, take their knowledge, yeah. Now, of course, with artificial intelligence, there's quite interesting opportunities to get even deeper into supporting customer right away with artificial chat and all that. But I think really the winner here is not like I'm doing the chat bot and I need to call the person. Yeah, so it's really kind of two separate experiences. The question is when this chatbot smart answers our question, answers initial question, saying, "Hey, connecting you to the Bob, who is our expert in this category, and Bob can come online at the same time." Because artificial intelligence is to enhance user abilities to do something, to do their job, versus replacing their job. This is how I look. And this is what I explained in my IE and e-commerce course. But yes, it's all about making it easy to buy, save people time, save people hassle on registering, on paying, and post-service experience as well, post-sale experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Post sale as well. Yeah. And I think all of these technology and people touch points all are like a hybrid approach, and every aspect of it aids that customer journey in making it the best customer journey possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I talk about post sale. Okay, we place the order. I want to go to see my orders. What's happening with my orders? I go to my order section. Yeah, but in B2B it's very different. Whose order? It's not my order. It's my business orders. Yeah, so maybe orders placed by other customers should be there, and all of that. So that's another big challenge that people sometimes overlook when selecting the e-commerce system. Then it's also there's internal view and external view, because of course at the end all your orders end up in ERP. That's fine. But customer place order online, wants to look order details or see list of orders. But one of these orders actually was placed by salesperson because they talked on the phone, it was complex order and all of that. Yeah. So these changes are in ERP. When the buyer wants to do self service, these order details may not be in the e-commerce system. And then we have a gap of information which really leads to the, okay, where is my order? I actually placed it. Why I cannot see it? No, it's okay. It's in this, already in the ERP. Or if you're buying complex product, there's maybe some modifications made in order afterwards when you go to production of it, but they're not reflected into your self-service area. Yeah, this is a big gap. that again costs people time, causes frustration, breaks this kind of trust, yeah? Because if I don't see my order in the list that's saying your orders, my trust kind of drops, yeah? It's a bad customer experience, yeah? So this post-sale experience, again, is super important, because what we really want to customer to be able to do, it's not just see your orders. Of course, they need to know the orders. They need to know status of the orders. They need to know tell, and don't waste your salespeople time answering stupid questions. Where my order, when it's going to be shipped, and is it produced, not or not? This all can be done electronically. But also, my orders is actually sales area, because for many B2B customers, orders are recurring. Yeah. So how do you make it easy for customer to reorder? And that, of course, needs to be done by having order information there and correct order information there, and having also functionality and features to make it easy to reorder entire order, reorder part of the order, mix them, but it should be fast and it should be reliable, because customer already found this product already working for them. They don't need to spend time go to discover them again. I just want to say, okay, repeat order for this, and that, yeah.
That's really interesting as well. Yeah, the simplicity of reordering is vital in post sale, but also that bridge of communication and making sure all the information there is absolutely key. It was a fantastic discussion. Really enjoyed it. But sadly, I think that's all we have time for. Really interesting conversation around optimizing the customer experience in B2B e-commerce. Lots to take away from this. Lots of things to implement and note down and see in action. I really appreciate your time today, Michael, and thank you for joining us. And I understand that you have a special offer for our listeners today.
Sure. I encourage your listeners to go to my site, which is commerceisdigital.com, and there they will find several courses. The B2B e-commerce course, which really covers all functionality of B2B e-commerce, and educate your team on how to implement best practices to implement it. There's also a course on how artificial intelligence can be used in e-commerce, which we all need to know about, because things are moving just way faster than everybody expected, and people who take advantage of AI now will be kind of in the same positions that people who learn how to do SEO when Google came along. That's really that level of impact, yeah. And there's also upcoming course, which is Master Customer Experience in B2B e-commerce. Yeah. So all your listeners will get a 20% discount. I think let's post coupon for this. It will be a limited number of course this seats available, and we'll post this coupon as a description of your podcast. And it was a really pleasure talking to you when we learn also about Hokodo and your product.
Absolutely. Thanks ever so much, Michael. It's been a pleasure as well. Sounds brilliant that you're able to offer that discount for our listeners. I'm sure they'll really appreciate that. And I'd like to also thank our listeners for joining us on another episode of the B2B Club. You can find all the details on Michael's training courses and how to follow him in the episode description. We hope to see you soon on the next episode of the B2B Club.